I'm not exactly sure what was up about that, but I would assume that this is gonna be a much closer match because I know that Akatsuki are. I mean, I think that they can. I don't think that they can make it anymore because I think that Disrupt was able to bring it at least 1 point, which was gonna make them keep out of the relegation spot. Was gonna keep Akatsuki out of the relegation spot. So definitely not. I think a chance for Akatsuki to place that again. And I think that their spot in let's see, what spot are they in? In 5th place is secured. That's what it looks like from what I'm looking at here online.
So they're relegated. They're relegated from Challenger League no matter what. Then.
Depending on how this map goes and how map number 2 between Disrupt and Orgless go, because like Orgless are relegated. Adventure Force 100% relegated. Shrug has yet to play today, so they're not relegated just yet. So the 2 through 6 spots are all up to grabs right now. You know, any team could really take it. It's just up to how well other teams play, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but the bottom 4 teams get relegated no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, for
just
sure.
So everybody's aware, only the only the top 4 teams in Challenger League stay in, and the top 2 teams get a chance to play for a Pro League spot. And if they do knock out the Pro League teams then go into Challenger League. So, you know, Rise Nation playing for one of those relegation spots at the moment. They won't get relegated out of Challenger League, but they could play against Rogue on Friday if they can win and tie these matches. So they have to at least win and tie these 2 matches to make it into that position. So Maestro and Echo gone, Jackal gone, Maverick gone. Already this is shaping up to look relatively similar, I'd say, to the last map, other than the Maestro and the Mira switching positions pretty much. But I'm looking forward to seeing a much more competitive game on Villa than we saw in the last one, because that was
pathetic if you're Obey. Okay, you guys played
that was
like
an
shit.
Unsatisfactory performance. I'm gonna have to see better next time, obviously. So let's just see what these 2 teams have in store for us. Rise Nation, obviously, we've seen them in the past be very organized and, you know, just play overall, I'd say, to be one of the best teams in Challenger League. They've made it this far, obviously, to potentially make it to that 2nd place position. But we're gonna have to see some really good plays out of them if they want to secure that spot, because Akatsuki can be a surprising team. They definitely know what they're doing. They have all played together for this entire season and have played together in the past, you know, here and there, randomly. But I think that Rise Nation on paper should be the better team here, but Akatsuki can surprise you. They're not to be an underestimated team by any means.
No, not to be underestimated at all. And we're going to be looking at the bar defense coming out here first. And it's going to be the double Baguette brothers, the Doc and the Rook coming out from Rise Nation here, as they're going to be looking to try to get these points secured for them. But
they're actually all running vanilla ops, I just realized.
Oh, yeah.
All running vanilla,
this is a complete
year
vanilla.
1, season 1 ops.
On the defense, at least, not the attack. That we've got a couple. We've got 2 DLC ops, I guess you could call them. But 3. Oh, that's right. The Nomad. I was just looking at the Sophia and that bomb. You're right. But either way, here it looks like we're seeing a master take, at least from the time being. They're trying to avoid attacking from the study side, and it looks like Rise have actually read into this. They have some of the utility here, like the shields and the reinforcements set over towards this north side of the map. England's OCD there just bugging him that there was a little, there was the Rook, the basket of shirts that was all picked up. He was annoyed that that was sitting in the middle of the hallway.
So, sorry, you cut out for a second. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You can keep going. I was just gonna say that I was almost Adam losing his head, but ultimately it seems as though they're not going to have any gunfights just yet, and England's shooting the basket again. Well, I'm not sure. I thought he destroyed it the first time he shot it, but I guess apparently not. Hibana, though, is making an interesting hole. She's cutting off the rotates from study balcony, and the rest of her team is pushing from the master side. So this could be a very good pinch here on the vault, on this player inside a vault. I believe it's the smoke or the Jaeger.
It's actually, I think it's Rook playing in there, but I think they're just gonna go for a plant. I don't think they're gonna push in. I think they're just gonna try to go for smoke off and go for a plant while Yarny watches the cross. Talon is gonna be able to put the diffuser down, and Drip's gonna pick off one. Prod playing the angle outside of the balcony as well. Both watching these angles, making sure none of the defenders can rotate through, and that's gonna be a successful plant very, very well executed. They didn't really risk anything there. Talon's gonna pick up one onto Adam. England looking for this flank coming from 90 hallway. But Drip is just going to take down another onto Vandal, so this looks like one of the most successful attacks I've seen on Villa in quite a while, as Beastly now in a 1v5 scenario. All hope is lost for him. There's no way he can come back from this.
I 100% agree with you. I think that was one of the best attacks that I've ever seen on that Aviator site. And that was coordinated and premeditated murder. You know, a flawless round coming out from Akatsuki, and they made it look easy on that round.
They really set the tone that round. Obviously, Rise were trying to be flexible with their defense before establishing the position of that shield in the hallway. They just wanted to make sure that they knew exactly where Akatsuki was coming from. Even though they were able to successfully determine which way they were coming from, the angles they were holding were literally ineffective in every way. There was nothing complicated about that attack other than getting to the site door. And there was no, resistance from Rise on the opposite side of the map to even pressure that. So once Akatsuki was at the site door and droning and waiting to go for the plant, all they had to do was literally get behind that little trophy case inside of Aviator, and or behind the vault door. It just depends on what they're feeling at the time. Mostly, I would assume. But once they're in that position, if they have all the rotations cut off for the defenders via the Hibana and Thatcher watching those angles, there's literally nothing the defenders can do other than throw C4s and smokes, and those were ineffective. So Rise have to kind of be scratching their heads here, like, okay, like, we got to change something the next time we go there, because what we just did obviously did not work. Anchoring heavy on site and waiting for them did not work whatsoever.
Attackers have located a bomb. Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Moving into the next round, we're going to see Akatsuki pushing and attacking the trophy and statue site. We've seen some outstanding performances from Prod recently in the past few weeks in Challenger League, and I'm looking to see him show up for his team big again, especially on defense. He doesn't get I don't think he gets a lot of frags on attack. That doesn't seem to be his motif. It's more the frags that he gets on defense, mainly playing with the Mozzie. But this looks like a much more flexible and dynamic defense coming out from Rise. Obviously going to be trying to hold down the bar and the Aviator side, as Prophecy barely might have missed that player rotating. Some pre-fires coming back out through the vault. Drip holding the angle, making sure nobody rotates back towards the site. And Adam going to be playing inside of the vault. Will get droned out, but he does have another player with him inside of the bar, so it's going to be up to England and Adam holding these angles, trying to protect each other as they're about to get pinched. England actually looking the wrong way at the wrong time is going to get taken down very easily in a giant flurry of kills coming out from Akatsuki, putting it into a 2v4 scenario now, as Acid is able to trade one back onto Prod, pushing from Master at the same time, trying to play off of his teammates and the chaos they were causing on the other side of the map. Vandal now holding an angle towards the top of the red staircase, as Acid is going to be playing inside of the trophy room. So the defenders are spread out. The attackers can, trade out onto them if they want. And Acid sees one for just a second, can't quite land the shots. Vandal waiting for push in through the closet, but that doesn't seem to be the game plan at the moment, as the plant is once again going down. Talon looking to get another plant onto his siege. GG now, as Vandal is going to hit one air jab. Acid is going to trade it back onto Drip, watching for the player hitting that air jab. And Akatsuki are looking fantastic at the moment. Just their attacks seem absolutely flawless, and that seems to be the biggest issue with a lot of teams on Villa specifically. Acid once again trying to go for another one, but can't quite land it, and Akatsuki proving everybody wrong. You can attack Villa. You just have to do it this way.
I mean, teams need to look at this because these have been two, not flawless, but I mean, pretty much flawless. You know, like with their execute. I mean, they've obviously lost players, only in that last round, but they only lost 2 of them, and it just seems like they're unstoppable right now on these attacks. You know, and with 2 plants already in 2 rounds, and that's got to be some kind of record. With those were the 2 most one-sided attacking rounds in a competitive match that I've seen on Villa specifically. Oh,
because,
yes. Oh, towards the attack.
Attackers need to locate.
Yeah, it's just so. The way that they're playing it is just so smart. All they do is cut off the way the defenders can rotate, and then they sit back and go for a plant in a specific location, utilizing the air jabs to stop the defenders from rotating. And if the defenders aren't fighting back, per se, or playing passive the way that you typically should play on defense, they're just going to get the plant down. We saw that pretty much the exact same thing happen on 2 different sites. So, you know, Rise kind of have to be scratching their heads like, we have to win or tie. If they lose, that's it. If they lose one of these maps, it's all over for them. They can't make it to the relegation spot.
No, they really can't. And it's going to be big to see how...
They have to win and tie.
Yes, exactly.
So...
But, yeah, it's going to be
Let's
back
see how the
to
attack
that
sets up once
too.
again for Akatsuki. What we saw last time out of Drip was playing outside on the balcony, repelled upside down, watching the rotation into the aviator room from the vault, cutting that off. But it looks like Rise are feeling a little bit more confident on the statue side of things, and are going to try to hold off this roam clear once again.
A bomb has been located.
Acid now with control of the 90 hallway is going to be adding a ton of support to the players playing inside of Vault and games. But that does leave them very spread out all across the map. So what I think is about to happen is a full, you know, site switch to an actual just full objective push. But Rise are reading into this very well. They're all rotating back at the same time. Adam and England looking like they're going to rotate downstairs for potentially a C4 from below. And some of the beta batteries are taken off by Beastly there, so well played there to stop those angles from getting opened up. Rise seemingly reading into this attack now, and will most likely put themselves in a much better position to win this round than they did last time. As Drip is still going to be able to try to open the wall, and the push is going to go straight in. Acid picking off 2. Talon picking off 1 onto Beastly. That's the Bandit gone, so that effectively helps a little bit, but this push is still being held off very well by Rise. England playing onto the astronomy stairs, going to be pushing holding the push from the bathroom itself. Acid watching the master doorway, and now a C4 from below from Adam could be a problem, but he doesn't set it off quite yet. Maybe he didn't even throw it. He definitely threw it. I think it's placed. It's pre-placed. A Thatcher going out will most likely dispatch of that. Prophecy picking off Adam now. Down below, evening it up into a 3v3. And with about a minute left, this is very even and much different than we saw from the previous round.
No, but he's actually also have to worry about England here. And it looks like he has no idea that the Jaeger is here. It's going to be an easy kill for the man himself, England, making things a 2v3 now. With about 50 seconds left, it looks like Drip is aware that the push is coming up the Astra stairs. We're tossing a few flashbangs. Actually rushed right through, but actually he got downed by the smoke and the pre-fire back through from England. He's going to rip the head right off of Prod. An excellent attack, but ultimately just a better defense coming out from Rise as they just shut things down there towards the end. Going to put themselves the first round on the board.
Yeah, reading into the way that Akatsuki attack, Rise were able to adapt efficiently. It took them a couple rounds, but they definitely were able to adapt to the way that they were being pushed. So, you know, well done by Rise to bring that round back in their favor. And Akatsuki, you know, I don't think they're going to be able to get away with that playstyle again, like, continuously. I think that Rise are going to read into it and adapt and just start countering them completely. And I just really want to point out how organized Rise look, along with Akatsuki. Both teams look very organized at the moment, but Rise we don't see it a lot where Rise read into the full objective push switch up, like normally, like the last round before there was a roam clear, then there wasn't a roam clear, and Rise immediately adapted and came back to site. It was like both teams just effectively moved back to the objective for the push instead. And I think that there's a lot to say about that, the kind of preparation and intel being gathered on both sides in order to make those kinds of call-outs. And I think that both teams responded appropriately, and we just happened to see Rise come out on top there.
Rise finally got this figured out, and I look to see them maybe prove a little bit more in this round as well, but ultimately it's going to be all up to them. I mean, they have the utility to deny this. They're going to bring those double Baguette brothers again with the Rook and Doc. And that full, well, not the full this time, because I guess Valkyrie was the first operator to ever be brought into the game after those vanilla ones. But Frost and Buck was the first one? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's when I came in. That's when I started playing, was when Frost and Buck started. I thought, okay. Either way, sorry. It's my bad. But it's going to be that master push yet again coming out from Akatsuki. Is they look to see if they can't tack on another round here. It looks like England has the 90 under control here. He's just going to try to deny the droning and intel, as his job is just to hold on to this for as long as possible. No one's going to be repelling on his 90 window just yet. I assume that we might see one of the attackers rotate over here. I mean, that would be a smart decision, but it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that just yet. England actually going to rotate off of that and going to go back to his shield on the bar door and just wait for that attack to come to him. Because, like we've said so many times, it's all about timing for the defense. How much time can you waste before the attack gets a little bit stressed and they have to start making those pressured pushes. So it's going to be intriguing here to see when we see Akatsuki go for that plant and go for that push onto the site.
Yeah, these angles being held by Drip and Prod are pretty effective here at locking down Study completely. No defenders can come in or out of Study. There doesn't happen to be any defenders in there. England now going to retreat his way back. If he walks into the hallway, could walk right into Prod's sights. So that's a big, big problem. What we really need to see out of Rise is some kind of a flank, which we're not seeing at all. More of the wall is getting opened up, and all Akatsuki's waiting for is for the go, to go for the execute, to go for the plant. And they're going to have a C4 or something ready for it, because otherwise Akatsuki's just going to plant as easily as they did the last time. So Talon now just waiting, going to crawl his way into the site, looking for the Valcam. I think he got rid of it. Ooh.
Yes.
Some shots there, very, very close, as England is still watching 90 behind the shield, but he needs to take a more aggressive position. There's literally no flank, but a good smoke does get thrown out by Vandal that time. Now Prod does have the eyes on Valkyrie. Does Valkyrie know? Oh my gosh. Zophia's coming right up on her. Prophecy's just going to knife her, I guess. Yeah, easy kill. Beastly gone. C4 off the board. Now the plant can go down, but there's only 15 seconds left. These smokes could deny everything, and maybe Adam might have a C4 as well. However, Smoke does get taken out. Talon with that frag is going to push in and now go for the plant. One C4 getting thrown out by Adam. Does it deny the plant? Yes, it does. Adam with another one more, and now 2v2. Is the plant going to go down? Drip's going to still get that kill, and now Adam has to push in. He has to go past this rotate hole. Doesn't know where the plant is.
Oh, what?
He can go for it. He can go for the defuse, but he doesn't know. Drip is still on the balcony. Drip's going to be playing it and peeking in, and Adam's going to win that fight. Drip losing, or excuse me, yeah, Adam wins the fight. Drip losing out, unfortunately not landing his shots when Adam crossed, and Rise successfully are able to win that round, but it was so close. It came down to the wire there. The last second plant and the last second finish on the defuse was huge. There.
That was insane. I mean, I don't know how he didn't deny the diffuser outright. That was literally a last second kill before that diffuser got dropped onto the floor and the round was over. Drip just barely missing those shots as he rotated across of those Hibana holes. And I mean, that's the whole point of those Hibana holes. I mean, you're able to see them as they cross over two sets of them, two different sets. And it could be like, if you can't hit those shots, then that's just that's up to you. You know, like that was just unfortunate that those shots didn't land, and he wasn't able to get the kill.
Yeah, it's hard to catch it through like that. Those kinds of angles, those rotation holding angles, are most effective when the defenders are walking ADS.
Yes.
Because like if the defender's walking ADS, it's a much easier shot. But if a 3-speed character runs across or rotate like that, there's no guarantee you're gonna win that fight. So, or not win the fight. He's gonna win the fight because the defender like has to cross there to do something else. But there's no guarantee that you're gonna actually get the kill. So that's great game sense by Adam to actually know like, okay, Drip is outside on the balcony. I'm effectively in a 1v1 with the plant going down. I know it's going down. So well played by him, and that was some good droning by Akatsuki there to find Valkyrie in her position to throw that C4. Unfortunately, Beastly kind of getting caught with his pants down there, but it wasted enough. It literally wasted enough time, just enough time, for the defense to win the round. It's really the time wasting that Akatsuki had there, on the side of the defenders, because without that time being wasted, they can take their time and go for a more safe plant. But because, all that time was wasted, I keep saying it over and over again, it's just, they just lost the round on time, really.
Yeah,
they were plant denial too. Yeah, they were ready to go for so long and just couldn't stop it. But great adaptation from Rise there at the end of the day. Good game sense by Adam.
Oh, I mean, Adam is the GOAT, I mean, there's no denying that. And going into round 5 now, these last two going the way of the defense. And it just hasn't really looked good for Akatsuki, as they looked so strong on those first 2 rounds. But I mean, either way, they're going to have to try to figure something out here to try to bring these attacks back in favor for themselves. It is a defensive-sided map, so I was surprised that they were able to take 2 off the board that early. So definitely big props to them. Oh, yeah.
Those are huge rounds. Indeed. I agree completely. Looks like Akatsuki is taking full control of the entire map. It doesn't look like Rise are really in the mood to, try and contest map control at all. They're just gonna let Akatsuki have it and just try to play off the time itself. I feel like that's a good way to play, but it's also a risky way to play at times, because if certain angles get opened up like we saw from some of the last few attacks, there really isn't going to be much the defenders can do. Now the floor being opened up above Beastly, he could go for a C4, but he most likely wants to keep his C4 and use his scanner for as much intel as possible. Is actually going to stop. No, actually just going to kill Drip, but not stop the Havanas from going off. So, good play there. 5v4 in favor of Rise. Sledge still opening up above. And Beastly gathering a ton of intel on the pulse scanner right now. This is really good for it.
Oh, yeah. Gathering that intel is definitely a big play for a pulse. What are you doing, Talon? He just walks right into sight and gets gunned down by Beastly. I'm not sure what the play was there. Vandal on that flank will take down Prod, making things a 2v5 here with about 30 seconds left to play. All left up to Prophecy. All up to Prophecy as Pixel dies as I'm trying to talk about him. The Sophia player is going to walk right into sight, and we're going to see a flawless round come out from Rise. What has happened these last 3 rounds? It's just been all Rise and nothing coming up for Akatsuki. This is looking like the map that we know to be Villa and the defensive sidedness.
I really liked the way that Rise set up there. Mainly not because of the reinforcements or any different than what we've seen before, but mainly just their operator positioning. Acid playing inside of the kitchen in that position that he was in, not necessarily in the corner where he got the final kill, but playing behind the island in the kitchen and the bomb itself, gives him so many angles and lines of sight he can utilize with that ACOG. And then on top of that, you have Beastly gathering all the intel he needs, so Acid knows that no one's coming from below him. Beastly's also has full intel on where the hard breach is for Akatsuki at any given time. You know that the hard breach is going to eventually push that small room, no matter what. Like, there's no other place for them to push. And also gathering the intel on the players above it just gives Rise the peace of mind to be able to say, if I'm holding this angle and as long as my teammate is alive, all I have to do is watch this angle. So it simplifies everything, makes, you know, and with proper communication, you just stall out the attackers, and that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah.
10 seconds to insertion.
We'll be going now to our final round of defense
5 seconds
for
left before insertion.
Rise, and they're looking to try to make this 4-2. A 4-2 half, I think, would make the most sense, and I think that would be a pretty even keel setup for the second half.
That would be normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be normal, I'd say.
Yeah, normal, even keel. If Akatsuki were able to bring this 3-3, which I think that they can, I think that their attack for this site is very strong. And I think that if Drip is able to hit those shots this time around, I think that that's going to make this a different round. But they have to try to waste this utility. There's 2 nitro cells coming out from Rise. So that's 2 times that they're going to be able to deny that plant if they have the intel on it. There's no smokes coming from Akatsuki, so they can't cover their planter whatsoever. They've got to just rely on them missing the nitro cells, which is never a real good thing. Why was this wall left soft? I thought that was like a visual thing. I thought it was reinforced like on the other side, but it's actually just been left soft. Very curious play coming out from Rise, as that's just going to allow the Zofia to walk up, impact it right out, and they'll be able to get a nice line of sight and not even have to worry about the bandit trick or the impact, but it's not going to matter, I guess. England just going to rip the head off of Prophecy and make things into a 4v5 here.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, Rise having a lot of trouble taking map control, a lot more than they did before. Acid looks like he's still playing in the 90 hallway. As Pixel, it looks like he wants to creep his way up, might get spotted. Yup, gonna hit the barbed wire and immediately get shot. Well, this is being well played by Acid at the moment. He's just gonna take the head right off of Pixel. Rise seemingly coming back with a vengeance, as it looks like Talon's gonna have to make his way over to meet up with his teammates. Drip and Prod over by the site. The walls are going to get opened up now. Drip is going to push his way into the bathroom. Part of the wall does get opened up. Drip just waiting for anybody to be holding an angle on him, but the attackers can't move through this Hibana breach, so he doesn't really, there really isn't much they have to worry about. All they have to do is sit back. Prod holding a very, very tight angle through the bathroom doorway towards Astronomy is going to rotate back outside. Air jabs are going to be deployed, so the defenders can no longer get back to the site. Drip's going to pick off one onto Acid. That's the dock off the board. Very, very good for them. Acid, Drip takes down another onto Beastly. Is immediately going to get traded by Vandal. The plant is going down. Adam goes for that kill onto Talon. And now Prod stuck pretty much in the bathroom doorway in a 1v3 scenario. There really isn't much he can do here, but he does have some potential. I don't think the defenders are fully aware of his location at the moment. With only 20 seconds left, he's going to have to go for a couple frags at least. Now they are confirming his location for sure. One smoke canister is going to blind him completely, and Vandal will clean that up no problem. Rise Nation looking good in these last 4 rounds. Much better than we saw in the first. I think they just needed a second to adapt.
I agree, and I want to apologize. I thought the site was Aviator and Bar, or Games. Based on those reinforcements, I thought that was what the site was, but either way, the trophy site, it's going to be won out by Rise straightforward. And I mean, like you said, they looked so much better on those last 4 rounds, winning 4 straight, one of them being a flawless round. And I mean, those two pretty excellent attacks that we saw from Akatsuki just get nullified. I mean, basically, they looked pretty poor in those last 4 rounds. And I don't know if that was just because Rise was playing so much better, or what?
Rise, I really think what it comes down to is how passive Rise were in the first 2. I feel like they went into the match with the game plan of, let's play passive and let them waste their own time, and we'll eventually just win our gunfights. But as it turned out, Akatsuki actually had a very well planned and practically flawless execute on 2 of the stronger sites on Villa itself. And if Akatsuki are left to their own devices without any interference from Rise, they're just gonna steamroll. So obviously Rise just taking the fight back to Akatsuki, just delaying them, wasting some of their utility, forcing them to do something different, is where Akatsuki obviously fall apart a little bit. But this is a defender-sided map, so it's not like Rise are definitely playing better on those last few defenses, but they just made a couple small adjustments that mean everything in those 4 rounds.
Yeah, those adjustments were definitely big and definitely went to show like how much this team has worked for the spot. And coming from Pro League, we know that this team has a lot to prove and to get back into Pro League. So they're definitely looking to try to secure that second spot, and they need to get 4 points today at least in order to secure it. So definitely looking hungry right off the bat. It's going to be all up to Akatsuki to see. I mean, are you going to be the ones to deny Rise and let Two-Face go through, or are you better friends with Rise and are you going to let them go through? I hope that's not what's going through their head, but it very well could be.
Located by attackers.
Either way, we're going to see about a minute 50 left in this round. No one's really had any gunfights just yet. It looks like some Habana pellets are going to be opening up the main wall here onto Aviator. A couple there got set off onto the games room, but not too much really, as we've got a kind of a weird deep roam here. Prod has some cameras inside of the statuary room here and possibly on top red as he's waiting for a call out from one of his teammates. He knows that England is on the IQ, it seems, so he's not going to place down that nitro cell just yet. He's going to wait for the call out on one of the cameras. Any moment now he's going to be able to go for that nitro cell kill, and it's going to be over for one of those attackers. But more drones coming out. A lot of time being wasted by Rise as they only have a minute now to get through the site, and the nitro cell will go up, but no, the gridlock scurries back towards Trophy, and nothing is going to come of it. 5v5 with about a minute left.
Unfortunately for Prod, his excellent Valkyrie camera placement will not to come to fruition in order to net him a kill. But Rise, like you said, have wasted a lot of time. Smokes look like now they're going to come out and try to bait out some more of the defender utility, but not quite catching anything. One smoke does get thrown out, however, as I say that. Drip playing behind the bar does have an excellent angle to throw the smokes from. Prod is now just waiting, as he knows that somebody's definitely trying to push him and is going to get taken down by, I believe that was Beastly, not even taking any damage, as Beastly will most likely rotate, and now all sorts of shots are coming down. Oh, Prophecy looking for this default defuse, but he can't find it. He was pretty much knifing into nothing and doing all sorts of 360s, dancing around all the attackers as they were literally just planting right in front of him, but unfortunately for him, he's not quite able to get it. And Rise just making another round just look like it's easy for them. That attack looked very easy for them in that regard, because Rise, once again, reading into a lot of simple tactics. Obviously, there was a piece of barbed wire in position at that doorway that Prod threw the C4, waiting to hear the barbed wire being hit before he threw the nitro cell, and all they did was hit the barbed wire and run away, and the nitro cell came flying up. So, you know, some of these things are kind of telegraphed by the defense, and Rise, with all the experience they have on their team, are reading into a lot of that. So it's also why they're able to counter Akatsuki so well.
I think so too. And I mean, that round, if you would have asked me who was winning that round with about a minute left in a 5v5, and all the utility, pretty much all the utility still left on the defense, I would have 100% thought the defense was going to win that. But I'm not really too sure why the Valkyrie of Prod decided to stay downstairs when she had already dispensed her nitro cell. Why not return to site and try to help the rest of your team try to stave off the attack? I mean, maybe just stay down there and you might get a pick, but
Camera feed up and running.
the Habana tried to roam clear you out, and you still weren't able to hit any of the shots onto Beastly. So, kind of an interesting choice from Prod ultimately, but it's kind of a 50-50 call there. You're not really sure whether or not the attack's going to push you out or where that push was coming from. They obviously didn't have any more intel. All the default cams had been taken care of. So overall, a questionable play to say the least from Prod, but it could have possibly worked. Ultimately, it didn't. So we are going to see Rise now take the lead 5-2. They've won 5 straight here since dropping both of the first 2 rounds. And they're going to see if they can't tack on another one. But Talon's got anything to say about it. He's gonna try to shut this down straight out. As looks like he's trying to bait out some of the utility from that Thatcher, throw it at the wall, and they're not gonna know that whether or not that's a Cade charge or a bandit unless they get the intel on it directly via a drone or even through the IQ scanner. But it's still looking very slow and methodical from Rise. They're trying to get all the intel that they can before they actually make this push onto the site.
Yeah, England now getting that first kill onto Drip. That's a smoke off the board. That's the exact operator that they want as a push comes in from Acid as he throws one of his track stingers down, but Prophecy's going to net a kill back in his favor as well. Unfortunately for Acid, he tried to bait out the track stinger, and he baited out the track stinger just to try to go for the kill, but couldn't quite get it. Adam with another shot, not quite landing it, but it's going to get sandwiched between two of the defenders as it looked like, I can't even tell who that is. Vandal gets taken down by Pixel. Now it's all up to Beastly in a 1v3 scenario. We've seen him come back from these kinds of scenarios before. He definitely has intel to play off of. Oh, we saw one for just a second behind the bomb, but can't quite land it. Now looking back towards the rotate hole in Astronomy. The defender's just going to sit back and wait as he gets on a drone. Prophecy is weak. Prod is weak as well. Pixel here, still with full health. There really isn't much Beastly can do. He has to win a lot of gunfights very quickly in order to give himself some kind of an advantage. Oh, Beastly looking the wrong way. Oh, does he get the shot? No, he can't. Prod going to finish him off. Well played there by Akatsuki. And Rise just kind of faltering there for a second. I thought they were going to clean sweep him, but you know, Adam was positioned on that window for quite a while. That window does lock down a lot of defensive rotations, but doesn't give a lot of angles into the site for him to utilize and help his team very much. So it helps gain map control, but doesn't quite do anything else. Rise not looking as good on that attack, but they're still in the lead 5-3.
Yeah, they've still got a pretty significant lead here, and I don't know, that attack just seemed kind of weird. A lot of gunfights, I'd say, just going in the favor of Akatsuki, but ultimately a good defense. It seemed like Rise just tried to rush in through Astro and then through the pig room, but they weren't really able to find those angles, and then once they actually got into sight, good gun work there from Akatsuki and able to shut down that rush. I mean, that's really all rushes come down to is, I mean, who's got the better aim? And who's ready and who's not. If the defense wasn't ready for it, that could have easily gone in favor of Rise. But good on Akatsuki. They were somewhat prepared for the rush, and they were able to get their guns up and then able to gun them down. So very successful for them indeed. And I'm actually surprised to still see Talon shotgunning this floor out, as that's only really useful if there's a thermite on the board.
Well, I think that he's shotgunning it out so that they could maybe play down below and look back up towards the wall, but
I don't think that's what it is, because he's not making the hole deep enough to look through from the below. That hole is so that way if you have a Kaid on the wall or a bandit or battery, so that the thermite can't just put his exothermic charge right next to the wall and then let that go off and get like a little slither of the bottom of the wall open.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, they know that they're just bringing in the Habana here. I mean, it's always good to be precautionary, of course, in case they one time they'll six-pick off the Habana maybe and go to a thermite. But ultimately, it's kind of extra work that isn't necessary. Of course, it's always good to be prepared than not be prepared, you know. So that's probably the reasoning behind that.
Well, now it's just pretty much just going to be a waiting game for Akatsuki, as Rise is just going to be trying to set up whatever attack they want to try to execute, but it's kind of, it's been real quiet so far. Prod obviously hesitant of any attackers that could be pushing him from the bottom of red stairs. However, Prophecy is going to be watching for him and trying to protect him for as long as possible. The C4 from below can be detrimental to the attackers if left unchecked. Prophecy going to be playing now on the staircase as some of the, or most of the Habana truck get taken off the wall by impact grenades. So good plays there by Drip, it looks like. Prophecy going for a pre-fire, doesn't land anything, but that could have definitely killed that attacker. I can't tell who it is at the moment. Might be England on IQ, as Prophecy's going to have to retreat off of red stairs if he wants to live. Going for the shots, can't quite land him, and it looks like Adam is going to end up winning that fight. Excellent use of utility there. Prod now rotating his way towards the main door. Could go for some kind of a run out. Is he going to go for it? Oh, he's hesitant. He doesn't know if he should or not. Drip giving him some kind of intel on something, but not quite sure what at the moment. Looks like he might run out, but once again, still hesitant. That's the only C4 other than Pixels available to deny plant, and with about a minute left, Prod's going to rotate back upstairs and try to help his team back on site.
Yeah, a good choice to rotate there is it doesn't seem like anybody's actually on that balcony. The Habana having rotated to a different location, but with only 40 seconds left, it looks like this push is going to have to come down. It's going to be a very crunch time as the first gas canner will come out. Like you mentioned, still 2 nitro cells on the defense. Plenty of utility in a 4v5 to deny this push outright from Rise. More track stinger is going to come out from Acid as he's going to smoke once more and possibly push into sight. A lot of damage though taken by Adam as the nitro cell comes flying through. Randall will find 1 kill, but it's ultimately going to be Rise that cleans up kills here. It's all left up to the Valkyrie of Prod. 1 player down. Adam has been able to pick himself back up with the stand as the plant is coming down from Vandal. It's going to be into extra time here as the plant will finally fall onto the floor. Prod picks up 1 onto the very lit Zofia. He's got 2 pretty much full defenders left to take care of. He's very lit. He's decently lit up with about 70 HP. In a 1v2, he's gonna have to find these players, but it doesn't look like he knows that there's one inside of the vault. The spot's coming out onto the Valkyrie. England's just gonna come around this corner, and he's gonna rip their head right off of Prod. Gonna put them onto match point here, at least securing that 1 point that they need. I mean, they need to have 4 points, but I mean, that's if they tie one of these matches. So I mean, at least if they tie this, it puts them into a better situation, you know.
Yeah, Rise Nation coming in, basically just executing well. That C4 being thrown by Pixel was really surprising, but once the diffuser was actually planted and Vandal retreated all the way back to the statue doorway, and England was playing inside of the vault with a drone inside a site to watch the diffuser, there really wasn't much Prod can do there. I don't think he knew that the plant was going down, because if he did, I feel like he would have been taken a much more aggressive position earlier. But you know, that was close. That was a close round. I thought Akatsuki were gonna pull that out there for a second, but like you said, Rise Nation securing at least 1 point towards the 4 that they need if they can win this next attacking round, which would be very, you know, interesting to see because of how defender-sided Villa is. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Rise were able to win both matches and take the second place relegation spot, which I'm sure they would be very excited to do. But Akatsuki obviously trying to fight back here. Want to definitely play as best they can, regardless of the position on the league standings. So, you know, just good play from Rise overall. I think more like just as a better as a team so far from what we've seen. Some of the plays, like England being so confident in the vault and not pre-firing, you know, haphazardly, and just really playing in a composed fashion, I'd say, mostly from Rise, given from what we've seen so far during the match.
I 100% agree with that, and I would like to mention just real quick that we have yet to see either of these two teams since switching over to the second half. So since Akatsuki's been on defense and Rise has been on attack, neither of these teams have switched their role, like their operator lineup at all. And I mean, we've seen Aviator, Trophy both twice now. So, well, we've seen Aviator 3 times and Trophy once. My apologies. We are on match point. And, I mean, this is going to be Rise looking to secure those 3 points because they desperately need it. I mean, they obviously want to get it in this match. That way, it's a lot easier on them in the next match, going on to that 4th point that they need to take over Two-Faced. But ultimately, it's going to be all up to them, as it looks like they're going for that study take yet again with those holes being opened up and possibly pushing in some players in the behind from Master. But still a lot of utility here. I would assume we've got the possibility of 3 nitro cells. I hope that Talon's bringing that nitro cell. If not, he's bringing those impact grenades in order to impact trick the wall. But Pixel, he'll find the first kill. That's a big kill. That's the 2 smokes off the board. I'm not sure if Acid was able to use them, but it's not going to matter. So he won't be able to cover the plant. So they're not going to be very useful for when the attack comes through. Oh, did Prod? Prophecy, I think he literally just rotated right past that drone. He literally sprinted up and into Piano before that drone was able to spot him. So good timing there for him, but he's not going to be able to do much from below. He doesn't have a nitro cell. He can possibly go for some shots up below, but oh my God, what a shot from Adam. He'll take Pixel out of the match, and got to leave us in a 4v4 now as we reach about 40 seconds left in this round.
Prod effectively on the main stairs, cut off from the site by Vandal holding that angle. As England is going to push his way in, Drip getting one shot onto Adam as Beastly's going to go for the plant, but England does get taken down. Another shot's coming out from Beastly. He's going to trade it back out into a 2v2 scenario. Prod and Prophecy both downstairs previously are going to have to rotate their way back as Vandal is going to shut down Prophecy coming up that main staircase. This is what I was talking about, that angle being held by Vandal, effectively cutting off that rotation as the plant is now going to be going down. Prod left in a 1v2 scenario is going to lose the fight out to Vandal, and that will secure Rise 3 points of the 4 that they need. All they have to do now is tie. Well played by Rise. They're making their attacks really count.
And well played by the IQ here. Look at this moves coming out from England, really showing that flexibility there. But good half from Rise. I mean, that was very solid. They only lost 1 round out of the last 7. So definitely big props to them as they went on a complete tear, taking over Akatsuki, and a big matches from some of those players on Rise as well. 11, I believe, from Acid. But I mean, either way, that's gonna be